Welcome to the 2021 TELPAS Grades 2 through 12 Writing Collection Training. You are required to take part in this training because you currently have an EL student in your classroom and will be required to take writing samples from this student as well as rate the student. The agenda for this training includes TELPAS Basics, TELPAS Test Security, collecting writing samples, and the TELPAS Online Training Center. This training does not take the place of reading the appropriate manuals. The website to get your copy of the TELPAS Rater Manual is on the next slide. These manuals are available only online. Mrs. Morris and Mrs. Pena will receive the TELPAS Test Administrator Manuals since they administer all of the online tests. You can get a copy of your TELPAS Rater Manual by going to texas.mypearsonsupport.com. Once on the site, click on Resources. Then you will click the drop-down box under TELPAS in the Manuals section, and then click on the TELPAS Rater Manual. The TELPAS calendar shows the significant dates for the TELPAS window. The Training Center opened on January the 11th, and the Assembling and Verifying Grades 2 through 12 Writing Collections course became available. The person or persons who will be assembling and verifying the writing collections will be required to take this course. The basic training course for new K1 and 2 through 12 raters opened on January 25th. On February 8th, writing selections may begin being taken. No selections may be taken before this date. The TELPAS window for all parts except 2 through 12 reading is from February the 22nd through April 2nd. The 2 through 12 reading portion window is February 22nd through April 9th. Harmony ISD has developed a district calendar with more specifics on certain dates, and you will receive that calendar at a later date. This slide shows the definitions and information on TELPAS. All current EL students in grades K through 12 are required to participate in TELPAS. This includes those students whose parents have denied ESL services, EL students who are homebound, EL students participating in remote learning, and foreign exchange students who are classified as EL. We do not assess monitored students who have exited the program. The TELPAS assessment includes the following: grades K1, holistically rated by the classroom teacher in the areas of listening, speaking, reading, and writing through classroom observations and student interactions. Grades 2 through 12, online test in reading, online test in listening and speaking, and holistically rated writing collections. TELPAS domains. Please take a moment to review these. For each domain, TELPAS answers the following question: how well is the student currently able to understand and use English during grade level instruction? There are 4 levels: beginning, intermediate, advanced, and advanced high. The 4 assessed areas give a student an overall composite rating of beginning, intermediate, advanced, and advanced high. Please review the key features for each level. More detailed information for each level and domain is found in the proficiency level descriptors charts, which can be found in the appendix of the TELPAS Rater Manual. TELPAS results are used to set learning goals for ELs, keep parents and students aware of annual progress in learning English, inform instructional planning for programs, consider reclassifications, report performance to the public, evaluate programs, resources, and staffing patterns, evaluate district and campuses, and accountability and monitoring decisions. There are some exceptions for TELPAS. A special education student's ARD committee may decide that they are unable to be assessed in one or more of the domains. Also, a student who enrolls in Harmony ISD from another district on or after the first day of the testing window will not be rated in holistic areas. However, they will be required to take the online assessments. Test security occurs before, during, and after test administration. No person may view, reveal, or discuss the contents of an online assessment before, during, or after a test administration. No person may receive or provide answers to student profiles during TELPAS calibration activities. No person may use answer sheets or notes that contain answers to TELPAS calibration activities. Each person participating in a student assessment program is required to maintain and preserve the confidentiality of all secure test content, including online assessments, online test tickets, test booklets, TELPAS holistically rated components, and TELPAS calibration activities. Please review the list of examples of serious testing violations. Procedural irregularities are less severe, more common, and typically the result of minor deviations in testing procedures. They include monitoring errors, accommodation errors, eligibility errors, improper accounting of secure materials, and other. More examples of these types of errors are in your manual. Penalties for violating test security or confidentiality may include invalidating student results, referring certified educators to the State Board of Educator Certification, and lowering the school district's accreditation status or accountability rating. Any person who violates, assists in the violation of, or solicits another to violate or assist in the violation is subject to the following penalties: placement of restriction on the issuance, renewal, or holding of a certificate, issuance of a reprimand, suspension of a certificate, revocation or cancellation of a certificate, imposition of any additional condition or restrictions upon a certificate that the State Board of Educator Certification deems necessary. A person who intentionally discloses the contents of any portion of a secure assessment instrument developed or administered under this subchapter, including the answer to any item in the assessment instrument, and the disclosure affects or is likely to affect the individual performance of one or more students on the assessment instrument, has committed an offense. This offense is a Class C misdemeanor. Each person is responsible for reporting any violation or suspected violation of test security. Campus staff should notify their campus coordinator. All suspected incidents should be reported to the district testing coordinator. General security oaths are signed by all personnel taking part in any assessment. These oaths will be provided to you by your campus coordinator and must be signed before you handle any secure material or take part in any secure assessment. This oath is valid for all assessments during the year. Ratings of writing collections for students enrolled in grades 2 through 12 are based on the writing samples in the collections. Additional classroom observations are not used. It is important for the writing in collections to portray the overall English language proficiency of the students. Teachers are responsible for assembling writing collections that accurately depict the ability of the students to communicate in writing in English. It is important for the collections to include writing from a variety of core academic content areas. Each writing collection must contain at least 5 writing samples and must include at least one writing sample that elicits the use of past tense and at least 2 academic writing samples for math, science, or social studies. Writing assigned on or after February 8, 2021 may be considered for the writing collections. Writing assigned before February 8, 2021 is not eligible for inclusion. Writing samples may continue to be gathered throughout the assessment window until the designated date established by the campus coordinator. All writing should reflect a student's current proficiency level. For a student near the border between two levels, the rater should consider using writing assigned toward the latter part of the collection window. The more recent the writing samples are, the more accurately the collection will reflect the student's proficiency level at the time of the ratings. All writing assignments must include the student's name and the date of the writing sample. The cover sheet and verification checklist located in Appendix C must be completed and attached to each student's writing collection. These will be provided by the verifier. Photocopies or scanned copies of classroom writing assignments may be included in the writing collections as long as all copied pages are clear and legible. Writing samples may be typed and collected in electronic or printed form, provided that spell check and grammar check are disabled for students not eligible for this designated support. District coordinators are required to submit a testing irregularity incident report to the TEA if student writing ratings submitted to the TEA are based on incorrectly assembled writing collections. The ELPs require ELs of all proficiency levels to learn to write in English. It is not acceptable for writing collections of students at the beginning level to include samples written primarily in the native language. Such samples do not provide evidence of English writing proficiency. In rare circumstances, for a recently arrived newcomer with little to no English ability, samples written primarily in the native language of the student may be used. However, all efforts should be made to collect writing samples in English through the designated collection window. Writing tests of these students should be adapted to their needs. Their writing in English will likely be formulaic or memorized and include recently practiced vocabulary and lack detail. Collections can have more than 5 samples. If a student is near the border between two proficiency levels, consider including samples written in the later part of the assessment window. The more recent the writing samples, the more accurately they will reflect the proficiency level of the students. Collections should contain some papers in which students showcase the English they know and feel comfortable using. Comfort zone writing is especially important for students at lower proficiency levels. Collections should also include papers in which the students are stretched and pushed beyond their comfort zone, so the collection shows that a student has not yet reached the next level. The samples assembled need to help determine and justify ratings. They must give evidence to support the rater in saying, I know the student is at least at X proficiency level because of these characteristics in his or her writing. I know the student is not yet at the next proficiency level because of these other characteristics in his or her writing. Please remember the characteristics considered must come from the PLDs. Please review the examples of writing prompts for basic descriptive writing on a personal or familiar topic and writing about a familiar process. Please review the examples of writing prompts for writing that elicits the use of past tense and personal narrative and reflective pieces. Please review the examples of writing prompts for expository or other extended writing on a topic from language arts, and expository or procedural writing from science, math, or social studies. Please do not include the following types of papers: papers containing copied language, papers in which the student relies heavily on resources such as a dictionary or thesaurus, papers showing teacher comments and correction, papers in which the student relies heavily on word walls, word banks, and student spelling lists. Do not include worksheets and question-answer assignments, papers that have been polished through editing with help from peers or teachers, papers written primarily in the student's native language, papers that are brief, incomplete, or rushed. Students who are capable of expressing themselves in English in a detailed, extended way should do so. Do not include brief responses from students who know enough English to respond to writing tasks in extended ways. Consider students' English language proficiency levels in determining whether papers are too brief to be included. These are the required forms for the writing collections. These forms will be provided by the verifier at your campus. This is a copy of the rating roster. Mrs. Morris will provide these forms at the time of your scheduled rating. TELPAS Online Training Center returning users. If you had an account last year, please use those credentials to log in to the training center. If you forgot your password, use the forgot password link. If you have a different email address this year from last year, do not create a new account or click forgot password. Contact the help desk and they will assist you in changing your email address. The training center for all TELPAS activities is located on texasassessment.com/TELPAS Training Center. You will log in or create your new account here. New account users need to click Create Account and you will be asked for a keyword. Please type in Training 2021. Once you have filled out all of the required boxes, you must click on the Rater Agreement to review before you click in the box. If you do not, it will not allow you to create an account. You must click on the Rater Agreement to continue before you create an account. Once you have logged in, you will see the Educator homepage. There's information under Start Here, so please take a moment to read that once you've logged in. There are also dates available under Announcements. If you calibrated last year, you are not required to take one of the courses. You can if you choose to, but are not required. However, if you did not calibrate last year, you will need to click on your assigned grade cluster and complete the course. You will be notified if you need to complete the online basic course. The only online basic course you will be required to take is writing. Please click on the link to begin. Once you have completed the basic course, please print out a copy of your certificate. It can be found in the training history. If you calibrated last year, you can assess your training history. Anyone can review or complete the practices available in the online training center. Calibration is necessary because it helps ensure that raters have adequate training, including ample practice and feedback, before they assess their students in the spring. It ensures that raters clear their heads and consider only the elements of student performance included in the PLDs, and it supports assessment validity and reliability and is an important part of holistically scored assessment processes. Both new and returning raters must calibrate in a monitored setting. Harmony ISD has set February 15th as the date of calibration. You will receive a passcode at the time of your calibration. Most raters will require 1 to 2 hours to complete, and you must finish once you start. The proctor will provide copies of the writing PLDs for you to use. For 2 through 12 writing, you will be required to write 10 writing collections. You must score 70% to meet calibration. If you do not meet 70% on set 1, you can immediately do set 2. You can also ask to do it at a later date. If you do not pass either set, you will still be required to rate with assistance from a central rater. This slide shows an example of what the writing samples will look like. You will choose a rating from that particular collection as either beginning, intermediate, advanced, or advanced high. This slide shows an example of a completed calibration. This slide shows your scoring summary. You will need to immediately go here to see if you met the required 70%. Once you pass your calibration, please print out a copy of your certificate. You will need to keep a copy and give one to your proctor. Thank you for participating in this required training. Please be sure to print out or download a copy of the Rater Manual.